as well on this side. So yeah, welcome everybody to my fun class. First of many. Let's do that. And let me actually just share my screen with you guys. So I want to share that screen. And I want to take you guys through this entire presentation. So what was it, F7? Oh no. Okay, I'll just start there like that and I'll just run through everything. Alright, so I'm not gonna still wait for a lot of people. Let's just see, because I want to get this done. Whoever misses out, sorry, you missed out. But I'm gonna essentially share a lot of what we can do with LLMs and just an introduction to what LLMs are, what we do with them, how you can monetize them, what sort of numbers you're looking at, and yeah. So I'm gonna get started with this. So again, go for it.
Before you start, do we have to take pictures of the screen of all this, or are you gonna share this
I'm gonna
presentation?
I'm gonna share the presentation with you guys.
Cool.
I made this just for you guys, and there is homework involved, and trust me, there's a reward with the homework also being done. But yeah, you will definitely speak about that. Alrighty, so let's start this introduction to LLMs. I mean, just out of a broad question, do you guys know what LLMs are?
A basic level, not how I should know it. That's for sure.
Okay. Alrighty. So I'll just give a brief introduction. So yeah, let's first go here quickly. What LLMs are. So everybody knows about ChatGPT that's in here. They should know. And yeah, and that's essentially is a large language model. And yeah, so I'm actually just going through what the slides are all about, like large language models. The biggest example of them is ChatGPT. What are they capable of? How do we get access to LLMs? How can I run an LLM on my own machine? And that's where the homework's gonna come. And you guys are gonna have to prove to me that you've managed to run some stuff on your own machine, even if it's a small language model. Yeah, and how this is practical in business. I'm gonna give you an SEO tool demo and maybe something else as well. So yeah, let's move on. So LLMs, like we know, OpenAI, ChatGPT, but they're not so open, as we all know. Then you get Anthropic Claude. That was the top contender right now. Right now, ChatGPT 4 released an update in this week, and they again right on top. Then you get Google Gemini and Gemma. Most people don't even know about Gemma, but Gemma is like a smaller sister to Gemini, which is free to use for everybody to go nuts on. But why I say is the most poisoned model. Well, we all know what happened with Gemini when they asked it to prompt for historical figures, and it gave them the very, very wrong stuff. Like the race and all that was very wrong. Then we're looking at Grok. I call that the inference king, just because whatever you type in Grok, whichever models you use with Grok, the time where you type something in and your response is very, very quick. But I can show you guys where you can actually make that much faster. And then X is Grok, Elon Musk's baby. Yeah, you can see that's like a revenge ploy to say, okay, you know what, OpenAI, I left you, but I'll make my own, and we're gonna make something much better of it. So, and that's a full open source model.
Right. How did that even happen with Gemini? That they gave those, like, I don't want to call it racist, but they gave those answers. Like, how is that the AI itself, or like what caused that to happen in your opinion?
So unfortunately, it's a thing called censorship. So once you start messing with censorship, so let's say you say, I'm now just gonna be blunt and say the N word. You calling this the N word is now something, but it's now obviously quite widely out there in the historical documentation of how American slavery was, why they were called the N word, where they came from, etc. Now they sort of censor that, and now because that's now censored, now you actually prompted for any sort of historical data. Now instead of looking for that sort of demographic, it's now just gonna spit out all demographics because in today's woke society, everybody needs to be included, but in history it wasn't always like that. and that's where they actually self-poisoned their model, and they're having a very hard time reversing that. So yeah, that's unfortunate.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool.
And yeah, so that's also to do with LLM poisoning. But let's see, what are they actually capable of? So I actually want to ask you guys, besides what most people think AI is chatbots and ChatGPT, I actually want to know, what's your perspective of what LLMs are capable of? I mean, you know about ChatGPT, so then what other LLMs do you know about? What are they capable of? What do you think they're capable of? I just want to get like a broad spectrum here of what people know.
I would say use prior data to kind of like summarize in a way, or find. I don't think it can come to new conclusions yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the way. Yeah, that's the way I see it. But it's not able to. Maybe when we get to like world machines, right, or world models. But as of right now, I think it's like almost like a very, very, very powerful data finding tool. That's the way that I see it.
Alrighty, that's really good. Anybody else want to give it a try?
The way I understand it is like it's really, really good at predicting the next word, or what the next word should be in a string of characters based off of a shitload of prior training. Basically, is how I understand it.
Right, that's also quite a more of a, I could say, unusual train of thought. But yeah, I get what you say. Anybody else, or do you want me to give you what I've sort of summarized already? Okay,
Yeah, let's hear the professional. Let's hear the real answer.
Alrighty. So so we understand that large language models, first of all, understand language, right? And how they were built on is neural pathways or neural networks. So they sort of act like a brain. But now, because they're called large language models, you can actually interface with it via language, via human language, like English or Dutch, German, whatever you like, as long as it knows the language and it can converse. Now the next thing is, now we start training these things on not just data but expertise in sort of fields. Let's say coding, for one. We know that ChatGPT is at least a much better coder than most developers out there. And then we're looking at, let's say, law firms. Now you start training this thing on law firm data based on your country or county or state. All of a sudden, this thing gets more proficient than a human being. And you shouldn't really see the word as large language model as a it's sort of like a fake name for what it's really capable of. But it's just what people are starting to see, what large language models, LAM, large action models, and then it's slowly coercing towards what we call agentive or AGI. So if you have a brain can't do anything unless you ask it something. But let's say if you give a brain hands, fingers, and arms, now you task it to do something. All of a sudden, the brain can do something. Now it's actually doing a task. And that's where LLMs are actually really going to. And most people don't know that. I mean, GPTs are the first piece of evidence that you could actually task it to do something. And I'm going to give you guys a nice example. I mean, Jofu had now in his meeting, in his masterclass, that even researching people is like, he has to go through the steps, then he has to look at this, he wants to get a background of somebody before he can actually go, okay, this is what we need to actually get, this is what this person's all about. And then, you know what, I'm actually going to give you a demo of something like that. So what I've done is I've made a whole bunch of agents in code. They connect as the hands, fingers, and arms. That code connects to the LLM as the brain. And now I'm tasking it, listen, do something for me specifically. So I'm going to just, let's see quickly. I'm going to open one of these. No, not that. I want to open a web page where I can just pull stuff. Oh no, because I'm sharing my screen. That's why I can't see it. Okay, you know what?
Just a quick one, Rita. I'm not sure if there's people waiting to get in.
Okay.
But
Jeez.
just worth checking.
Let me just stop sharing and let's see if I can get that quickly sorted, because I am not too well versed in Zoom. Where would I see that now? Okay, let me just do participants. Admit all. I think that should work. Alrighty.
Yeah, there we go. See it coming up.
Alright. Great stuff.
Maybe I don't know. We can ask George if he can turn that feature off, because I was also waiting for Jofu's class. Just that we just get admitted in. The host doesn't have to stop to let us in.
So yeah, I'll definitely talk to George about that. We'll try and fix that for you guys. But this is a little something that I built just for my team. 125, 7860. Was it 7860? The research tool. Yeah, there we go. So this sucker, we're gonna have a little bit of fun here. So let's ask, what's Jofu's full name? Let's go and find him. Jonathan Deagle, right? But I want to copy and paste this. So we're gonna actually give a large language model a task, and we're gonna find everything we want on Jonathan Deagle, aka the Jofu. Jonathan Deagle. There we go. Just gonna copy and paste. So all I'm doing is just that. Who is and what does he do for a living, and where does and let's say what company does he work for? Let's ask it that. Then next thing is, please produce this in a blog format.
Perhaps give some more context on Jonathan Deagle.
Document format. Now we don't want to know any more context. I actually want to find what it can find. So we're actually just gonna toss this thing to see how far. What are we gonna get? So this is gonna just scour the web. This is also built on our own custom large language models. This thing's been only finished 2:30 this morning by me. It's not completed. This is just an agentive work through with about 8 agents to do a job to find stuff on the web based on somebody. So it's not necessarily might give you the right thing. It might hallucinate. Oh, there we go. So multi-faced, from tech innovation to music and beyond. As you can see here, is an entrepreneur. Based in various in the tech innovation. I don't know where the music has come from, but again, we can actually ask Jofu about this. He's a co-founder of WebForge, head of the product. He leads a team in an impactful solution, and however interests span beyond technology, blah 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 blah. So there we go. So yeah, this thing essentially scoured Google to find who Jonathan Deagle is, what he does, in a nutshell. So all I just had to do is type 2 sentences, and I got a background already of my client. So this is some of the capabilities of large language models, where we're pushing the boundaries of it to do actually something. So what you do is, I build the hands, fingers, and arms, and up on top of the large language models, and then they get to do fun things like this. So yeah, let's just get you guys a hint. If you guys get the homework done and you DM me your homework, you're gonna get access to this thing.
What is this, a website, or is this your own LLM?
It's my own LLM that I also built my own website. Well, just a base Gradio front end that you can interface with it.
What model are you running on with?
It's a custom model between Mistral, Orca, and Vicuna. So yeah, I hope that sort of tickles your guys' fancies. Go and search people, and also it's an uncensored model, so it's got a little bit of the guy that does dolphin, so you can really ask it some fun things as well. We need to also
Can you
ask,
ask it
yeah.
what is the truth of P Diddy?
So do your homework and then you could do that yourself. How about that?
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, but for real. Okay. So again, how do we get access to these LLMs? It's quite simple. They're on Hugging Face. There's a beautiful guy, the hero of us all, that started the whole race thing and started training models in his own sense, called the Bloke. So if you look on Hugging Face, the Bloke, you'll see there's a whole ton of models where you can actually just download and actually do something with, start interfacing with it. So yeah, you want to get tools that you can actually interface with it, like Ooga Booga, and we'll get to the more of the other tools also, but later. But essentially, Hugging Face is a big space of where you can actually find these open source models, and a lot of them are under the Apache license, so you can actually monetize on them. So even if you use, and what you can do is you can even merge models. So you can take, let's say, Orca, which is a closed model, you take Llama, which is a closed model, and you slap Mixtral on, and you make a 70% Mixtral model from those two as well. And you can actually, it's your own essential model. You done the training. You can add some proprietary data. Let's say if you're doing this for a client, the proprietary data will actually be able to point this entire model and be more of an expert based on that proprietary data. That's what we call low ranking adaptation, or LoRa. So you can either run a large language model with a LoRa, and then on top of that, you can train that into one entire model, or just run it just as is and then interface with it, and then write some API on top of it, or some sort of code that just interface with this thing, and then, like I said, give it the arms, the hands, and the fingers to do the jobs. And then you'll just see things start moving like this. I want to give you guys another little hint here. So I don't know if you guys know about Postman. This is a bit big. I'm not going to give the external link also out there, but essentially this is what we do. We've built a SEO tool to replace everybody that does SEO out there. And you know what? Just out of curiosity, guys, give me a website. And then we're actually going to test this, and it's going to give, and I'm going to put the text of what it came back with. I'm going to post it here in the group, and you guys can scrutinize. So give me a website here. We're going to do something live here. Synthflow. Synthflow. Alrighty. Yeah, just .ai. So synthflow.ai. Just confirm quickly.
It's actually finetuner.ai. Now that I see it here. Oh wait, it redirects to Synthflow. Actually, never mind.
Okay, so synthflow.ai, right? Okay, let me just double check from my colleague here. Alrighty, I am gonna make sure that I'm just gonna rather copy and paste so we don't make any mistakes. And this is just on API level. So I do have another interface for this thing, but I don't want to run that right now because it's quite heavy. That would run only on my laptop. This would be running on one of our servers. So essentially, I just hit go. It's going to look at Synthflow, and it's going to start doing keyword research and a strategy development on SEO on Synthflow to make it actually rank better. So I can actually do Synthflow's SEO and actually say to them and say, hey, yeah, this is going to rank much better for you. So essentially, we selling this tool, and I'll give you a little bit further down the slides of how much we're actually selling this tool for with the AI in the box implementation. But if you, okay, they just gave it 5 or 2. It's probably the service is being hammered, which is fine, which is what we want. Yeah, it should take something like 25 to 27 seconds. Yeah, I hate these waiting times. But then again, is 30 seconds of waiting time a long time? And there you go. So I'm going to copy and paste this response, and then you guys can make out of what this thing is. Let me just go to the chat. How do I do that? How do I do that now? Let's go to Zoom. Yeah, I think it's yeah is the chat. Okay, and I'm gonna paste it there. Oh, message is too large. Oh wow. Okay, you know what? Screw that. I'm gonna dump it in Discord in the masterclass section. Where's this mastery? There's no mastery chat anymore. Okay, I'm just gonna put it there in the solutions corner. Let's do that. And there we go. You guys can have a look, see what's actually going on there. So yeah, that's a live demo of doing SEO much faster than what a human can do. I mean, if you had to task somebody to actually do SEO, go and scrape the site, go and understand what's going in the HTML, go see what's going on with the tags, the meta tags, all that, does not take 40 seconds. It takes them hours, days, well, not years, but it does take them even weeks. So if I could condense that week's work into 40 seconds, what do you think is going to happen? People are going to jump for this type of thing. So, and this is the power that you guys have at your fingertips with LLMs, with what you really can do with LLMs. You can make a time machine and compress time completely to something where no human being can actually can compete. It becomes to an impossible point. Alright, so this leaderboard, I'll share the slide. You guys will get this where you can actually see the leaderboard of which LLMs are ranking the highest. And strangely enough, you get, let's say for instance, StarCoder 2. StarCoder 2 ranks better than ChatGPT 4, the latest one, in terms of a coding LLM to actually help you build your own apps and so forth. So you can actually use StarCoder to build whatever you want. Then you get Lava. Lava is actually better than Gemini in the vision department. It's not as good as OpenAI, but it's getting there. Then you get stuff like a mix of Mixtral, OpenOrca, and Vicuna. Those three together just makes an unbelievably good LLM. And you can even run the 7 billion parameter model, and you're already running something that's much faster than ChatGPT 3.5, and even in some cases smarter than ChatGPT 4. But again, you are facing a 7 billion parameter model versus a 322 billion parameter model. But there's wins and losses. And obviously, ChatGPT is supposed to be the world. It's supposed to know everything. Whereas, let's say you train a LLM to know something specifically good. It's going to know it much better than ChatGPT will ever know. Especially when it comes to data. I know one of you guys said that it's good at reading data, predicting data. So, I mean, as a use case, if you had to think of a company, let's say Walmart always has a stock problem, right? They don't know how much stock do they really need at any time of day. Let's say Christmas season comes on and there's and they need to sell teddy bears, right? That's the hardest thing that's going to sell Christmas season. How do they know what they need to stock and how much they'll need to stock? They don't. But if they have an LLM that can read their 15 years of data, actually pinpoint, okay, this day, that specific day, it sold the most in the Christmas season. So why don't you make sure that you have that much stock on that day, and then start of evening out your stock through the rest of the days so that you don't overstock or understock. So that means you're fixing that 1% at minimum. You think a company's going to say no to you with that? So that's some simple things that's actually going on there. So, yeah, how can I run an LLM on my own machine? Here's your homework, guys. So, there's 3 of them that I just posted on there that I want you guys to do. Just go out there, understand what is Ollama, what is LLM Studio. If you want to get really funny and really technical, you can look at the web chat UI, what we called Ooga Booga back in the day. And then you can interface with your own LLMs. And I'll give you a quick example. I mean, I've got LLMs running at any hook and cranny. Let's see quickly. Here's one. This is Ollama. Just out of interest sake, write okay, well, I don't want to, what's going on here? Why can't I type? Interesting. Control D. Okay, that thing's just messed up. I'm just gonna open a new one. That's fine. So all I can do is llama run armor 2. Let's just do that. Spin that up. I think this thing is being mad. Alright, cool. And then write a poem about butterflies and peanut butter. I'm being random here, guys. And how it can make you grow more hair. I'm being really random here. But you see that inference speed. Only thing is that's this fast is something like Grok, G-R-O-Q. So the only way you're going to get this fast inference is if you build something or run something local because you're the only one using it, right? Or you have something that's got insane inference speed, but even Grok will have its limitations the more users they get. So eventually that ends up slowing down. So what we do here within our company, within Re3, within Quantanova, is we build this AI in a box solution to say, listen, if you have a company, you want faster inference in ChatGPT, you want unlimited tokens, and it's secure. There's no sort of external sources that can hack this box because you can make it only that it has internet access and no external access. So now it can actually interface with your company data, and you won't have any compliance issues, especially your data won't leak. Right? There we go. There's a solution. And then on top of it, you get inference that quick. So there's definitely something here, guys. You guys are missing. You need to jump now on this bandwagon because there's a lot of money to be made here. And I'm gonna explain to you how much very, very soon. It gets to a ridiculous point as well. So that I need you guys to check out Ooga Booga, LLM Studio, and Ollama, and at least interface with one of them, get it running, and then and if you have your homework done, just send it to me, and I'll work on getting you VPN access to my network, where you get to play with some of my personal tools that we've built for the company. So yeah.
Quick question, actually, if that's all right.
Yes.
You might come to this later when you talk about price, but I'm curious, how big do you think a company needs to be to target them with something like this? Because you're not going to target, like a barber shop or something with something like this. But
no.
But curious, kind of what size do you think is the minimum size for someone to take something like this on?
So that's a good question. So I'll take example our SEO tool. For one, we know everybody hates SEO. And who does SEO? Companies that actually charge people to do SEO. So that's who our business people are. That's who we want to be in business with. So they charge companies, let's say, 14K USD to 24K USD to 50,000 USD per month to over a period of 4 months. That, those are clients that you want to get. So that's how you would sort of look at first of all, what is your solution gonna fix? Then you look at who's going to use this fix. Who would it be the most useful to? And you sell it to them, because this thing is not going to, the SEO tool doesn't just drop their turnaround time by a week. It drops the turnaround time from a week to seconds. And now you just pass that data immediately onto the developers, and the developers start building. They just have to implement the fixes, and immediately the next day they can start ranking better versus the next week. So that's the power of what you can do. So yes, even a barbershop, if you had to think about it, what was the most tedious thing, or what's the pain points in a barbershop? Probably cleaning the hair off the ground, right? Or let's say something white collar in a barbershop. The payment system.
No-shows.
Yeah, or no-shows, yeah. How does a barber sort of say, okay, listen, because you didn't no-show, we have a contract with you to say, like, if you don't show up after the third time, you need to pay a deposit amount type of thing. And you can automatically charge them. Instead of somebody manually going to, okay, I have to do this, blah, 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 this is not working, I need to charge them, and then the person goes manually and does that. That's something you could probably look at. And at that same time, you can, instead of charging them this huge amount for an AI in a box feature, What you can do is you can have it as a SaaS on under your umbrella in your house or wherever you're running the entire system from, and then charge him for every client that you going through this service. You take 10%, 10 cents on the dollar. It's not much, but it builds up. And you then immediately, once you sold it to that barber, you go to their competition immediately and you say, listen, this is my contract. I sold this to this barber. What are you going to do? You're going to get stomped on, or do you want the same thing? So giving you guys some of our sales techniques as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. So you're kind of, I guess then the target for this is not to target individual businesses. It's to target agencies and people who offer a service to multiple businesses.
Exactly.
Not people that are product facing, consumer facing, but the people that are, above that level.
Exactly. So that also takes a big headache out of our hair when we do it this way, because dealing with customers is a pain, but dealing with businesses isn't, because they just want the product and they just pay for it. As long as you show them results, they just say, take my money. They literally are like that. And so here we come to what we're doing. I'm gonna give you guys some of the actual costs of what we price some of the stuff. So here's an example of one of our tools that we're selling under E3 and Quantanova. The idea is to creating agents to do tasks that do work for us. As you see, we build agentive tasks. The task, like I said, the arms, the hands, and the fingers. We build those things with a brain, and then we give it, and we call it a worker package, and then we'll send it out there in the wild to say, do this or whatever it needs to do based on what the company's needs are. For now, we do SEO audits from 30 seconds to 150 seconds, depending how big the pages are, how many pages it needs to go through. And like to rank better. Oh, there's a spelling mistake. I'll fix that. Yay. And that's already quite a big seller. So essentially, people who get replaced, who do service charges for 13K to 24K over a 6-month period. Now we just come along and say, listen, we're going to sell you this tool. Now, instead of you having 24 customers, why don't you take on 1,000? Do you think and just for that, this is what we charge them.
What does that say? 110,000?
Yeah.
109?
109,000. And there was no. So upfront we'll charge it. So there will be a 60% deposit, and any person who sells this tool for us, we give them 20,000 USD. So any reseller that sells this tool for us to a customer that wants to use this, they get 20,000 upfront, just like that. We don't care, even if you don't sell it, you get the connection for us and the sale gets done, we'll give that person 20,000 USD. 10,000 upfront for just making sure that the sale goes down. Once the deposit is paid, they get the 10,000. Once the deal is done, they get the rest of the 10,000. And then we still charge a 3K USD per month for any sort of service charges, maintenance fees, any sort of newer, stronger, better trained models that we would push onto those machines, onto the AI in the box. And this is where we are at as Quantanova, Re3, Cloudbreak, and ESP AI. Currently we sold to 2 customers. We have 8 other, I think we've got more than 8 prospects now. So it's actually a bit ridiculous. We're just waiting on some signatures also on one of them, and then it's money in the bank. My people smile and are happy.
Yeah.
Can you show us this?
Sorry?
Sorry, go ahead, Patrick.
I was just gonna say, it makes me feel a little stupid trying to sell something for like 5K. And all the stress that comes with the service delivery and all the problems that you have with these clients that are paying 5K and they think that they're entitled to, all these extra things and scope creep and everything comes in. And when you can go and just sell to one customer rather than 50.
Yeah. Trust me, 50 gets any sort of customers. Customers become a nightmare. And that's why we pivoted and we decided, you know what, we've got something on our hands. We've got something that's great. we've got the tool. We can create these tools and go nuts with them. I mean, like I said, the researcher tool was only finished this morning. It's not a completed product yet, but it's something my team can use, and they've already started refining it. I mean, Jason over here and Mary, they've already come up with prompts. Jason's the one that actually refined the SEO tool. We call him the master of prompts, because that's essentially the language we're using here. So yes, you have your Python on top of it, but the backend actually works with actual natural language, like human language. It's how you would task and prompt it, but you need to also know how to prompt it properly to get the right result. And that's also something a lot of people struggle with. But even with ChatGPT, people struggle with that. So yeah, and thus that comes to the end of the presentation. You guys got any questions for me?
Yeah, so just on what you just said there, in terms of how you're building this, it's essentially by just prompt engineering within the locally hosted LLM. Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
Okay, so like, would you say that in general it is like a very complex solution, or do you think that it's actually, once you kind of get going on it, it becomes more simple?
Once you get going on it, it becomes very simple very easily. So let me put this into perspective. You have an idea, you ask ChatGPT, hey, write this idea in Python, please. You spin it up in VS Code, you test it out, you interface with Olama, you give a prompt, you see what the result is, and you might have a product right there on your hand.
Interesting. So essentially, all of the agents that you talked about, you can probably spin up more agents for more use cases, like in a day. Would that be right?
Most likely, yes. So something we're working on as well in the background, I think you guys must have heard of Devon. So still in the works, in the pipe, we call ours Forge. So we've got our own little baby that's already coding for us. Still needs to be refined more because we want to implement it with our SEO tool. So essentially we want the SEO tool to do the SEO, task Forge to then make the fixes on the people's website, and then pass the product on and let them deploy it immediately instead of paying a developer. So
Interesting. I did actually also hear though that a couple of the demos for Devon were maybe a little exaggerated, but I do think that it's going to get there soon enough, but it's just that Devon probably isn't as far along as it was made to look, but yeah, I think we will get there at some point in the next few months though.
So the homework for next week, for the next session, is going to be playing with Davika, Open Devon, Codal, OpenUI, SWE. There's so many more that already sprung up that's already better than Devon. And that's free to use.
Yeah.
And if you take one of them, just a hint, take one of them, reskin it, make sure it works as a service, sell it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of open source.
Yeah. You know what sort of money you can make off that.
You make it sound so easy.
So here's the other trick. It is easy. Just do it.
Can I ask a question on the data side?
Go for it.
Are you having to build out a full like RAG architecture for these guys? Because you're probably dealing with a lot of structured and unstructured data with these companies. You have to build out the full vector database and everything? So
sometimes yes, depending on what data they have, then we will actually structure their data into vector databases, train it on a large language model, sort of build a new large language model. So we'll start something with, let's say, Gemma base, a 2 billion parameter. Slap, let's say, 15 years worth of data. That's about, let's say, 8 gigs worth of data onto this thing. Let it train and learn. Vectorize the entire database. And then slap the thing as a new large language model. Then on top of it, we'll build like a Python app to interface with it. Then test it also. Is it giving us the right results of what we want to see? And correlate it with its actual data. Let's say we do a SQL query to do the exact same thing that this thing did. Now we start benchmarking who's faster. Is SQL faster to get this? Me typing as a human being to get to that end product, or I just ask it a quick question and does it get it faster. And the idea is once you get the large language model fine-tuned and faster to get your data, it's a no-brainer then.
Get the latency down pretty low.
Yeah.
That's right. You're right. So, have you experimented at all or thought about running multi-agent frameworks on this, like AutoGen, like where you could basically have like a marketing department in a box, that kind of thing?
So the essentially the research tool is a multi-agent approach. So one is get on DuckDuckGo, get information. The other one's a project manager. The other one is let's formulate this into some sort of documentation. And then the last one is like, how do we present this in English?
Right. Okay, so that's pretty scalable then. In terms of yeah, you can go pretty far with that. And then you can pretty much just slap a speech-to-speech on top of this, and then they can just talk to it.
Yep. OpenAI's got even free stuff on the web that you can spin up that you can interface even with that. I mean, if you're talking about with Ooga Booga, there's little plugins that would do the text to voice for you, and it will cost you absolutely nothing. Only thing that you need to worry about is... Sorry? Yeah, go for it.
I was going to ask, like, how much customization are you doing on top of that 109 base price?
Oh.
Are the consumers asking for a lot of bells and whistles, or are they pretty happy with just the base model?
So, Innovation is one of our customers that we met on Wednesday with. The CEO asked us, "What's the price? What does it cost to get in?" He wants in, and just from what we showed him, he said, "Listen, we can give you this, and there is customization out there." So we did leave open a ability for them to prompt it themselves. Let's say it targets the website. One of the agents will target the website, the next agent will scrape, get the information, and then put it in a vectorized database. And then you can ask it, "Listen, what do you know about this data? What can you tell me about this website? Who owns it? What's it built on? Where's the links? Is the links broken? What does the links connect to? What sort of engine is it running on? Is it running on engine X? What version?" I mean, if you go with the uncensored model, we'll even ask. You can even ask it, "Listen, what penetration tests can I actually run, and what will be successful here?"
Okay, so a lot of that customization is kind of built into the package already.
Yeah.
Cool.
How easy or difficult is it to spin up front ends for a self-hosted LLM?
So, I'm wondering if I should make this a homework question. So he's asked if how easy it is to spin up a front end for this. So I've been using Gradio, and I use ChatGPT to write the front end for me. To say, "Listen, I want this input, this, and then I want it spun up. Then here's my base code. Slap that on together, and then there you go."
Does it actually work that way? I haven't done enough coding with ChatGPT, to be honest.
It's all about playing around.
Yeah, that's something that needs to be done. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all about playing around. I mean, Jensen Wang already said, like, developers are gonna go bye-bye, and I believe I'm gonna be one of those people that will make that happen.
It's gonna be more curating than creating
Yes.
or writing anything.
Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, so you would have to run this locally, right? You need to have like a physical GPU
So
that comes with the price.
yeah, so you actually don't need a physical GPU. You can have slower inference, yes, but then at least you can play with this thing. So let's say you have a laptop with about 16 gigs of memory. That's enough to run a 3 billion parameter model on your machine and actually test it. So you can run Olama. Olama will make sure that it inference with your CPU, and you can go ahead and start playing already around with that. So you don't necessarily need a GPU. You need a GPU for once you want to go much further down the line, when you want to start productionizing. Then I would say get funding.
Yeah. So within the 109 pricing, it's really the crafting of the right prompt with the right LLM, essentially.
Correct.
And then just massive use case with a lot of time saving, which is where the price comes from.
Exactly. So, what would you want to do? This is one of our pitching. This is what I pitch this to each one of the people that we actually sell this to. So we'll ask them, listen, you as a C-suite, what you want to do is running the business. Do you want to spend a year salary of 50,000, or let's say $1 million? Let's say $100,000 on 2 salaries for an entire year for them doing SEO, but they have to go on leave, they have maternity leave, they get sick, they go home after a certain time, they go sleep, they go to the toilet, smoke breaks, lunch breaks. I can go on about how much time do they actually work. Or do you want to use a tool that just never eats, sleeps, and just keeps on working? All it needs is electricity and internet.
Yeah.
What's going to cost you less? C-suites don't say no to this.
What were the I mean, Patrick already asked this, but like, what were the 2 companies that you've already sold this to in terms of size, and what were they, like SEO agencies?
So yes, one of them is innovation. We actually sold this already to them. They asked us again last night. They asked me, where's the contract stuff we need to get going because we need to hurry up. So that's number one. The other one is also Riri, one of our own partners that we sold this to, because he's the one essentially advertising all of this stuff too. And same price goes for them as well. So the use cases are slowly building up. Yes, there's only 2 use cases. That's enough for me to actually say, okay, well, this thing's a proven product. Let's go nuts with it.
No, that was exactly also my next question, which was, are you guys building on any other use case, or this is enough for now, and
So
no ham on this?
So we sort of follow a lot of Patrick Bet-David and Alex Hormozi's teachings. And currently we first of all making the SEO product the best product you'll get out there. I mean, right now you have SEMrush, but that's for everybody else who doesn't have much money. I mean, the highest package you'll pay on SEMrush is $499. But does it give the amount of capability that we have? No. SEMrush at least takes 10 minutes, but it's a manual process of code actually going through this. Whereas SEMrush might have 20,000 lines of code. My tool has 102 lines of code. That's the difference. I don't even have to code as much as them because the LLM already has all this information. So I code less, I get the product out more, I can refine it better, and I can give them something that doesn't exist out there that fixes the problem. So essentially, I save them a lot of time. And today we spoke to another possible partner. We're actually gonna give him access to this tonight, the SEO tool, and all he says is like it's a complete time saver, because if you can save time, which takes him like 10 hours to 15 hours a day on one sort of product just to sort of get some sort of ranking. He was talking about something like 2,000 words just to get 5%, or 200,000 words to get 5% better ranking. Whereas now he's got a machine that can do this for him accurately in a good strategy with the best, and it learns as well. So that's a nice thing. You can always train the LLM. You can always train a better LLM, deploy it, and then this thing just keeps running better. So there's always upsell value.
How did you go about proving to them that it's better than what they do, like with human interface, like with say a human AI?
We gave the tool to them to play with. We literally said, hey, here's this thing. Here's it in front of your face. Play with it. Ask your developer to play with it. Ask him what is it doing for him right now. And they said immediately, it's stupid to say no. You make your offer.
So they have like,
Yeah? Keep going.
sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
So ideally what
So
you want
they
to do is you want to make your offer a non, like something that you don't want to reject. You want to make it painful for them to say no. So yeah, sorry Pepsi.
Yeah.
Pippins.
Yeah. So they essentially also compared like with the scores, as I don't know like how it exactly worked, like SEO score
Yeah.
of a human compared to what you guys made, and it actually compared and was even better.
So it's
what
even
you
better.
could do.
Fortunately for us, as we showed, like we used Lighthouse gave scores, right? But it didn't tell you what to do. Ours gave scores and told the developer exactly what to do in a faster time,
Yeah.
and it even gave a strategy on how to implement it.
Can you build onto this some automations that run off of this to where it solves some of the implementation side of it as well?
Yeah.
And kind of automate the process of like, not just doing the research, but also doing the
So
work?
so let's say if you use Make, and you use Make to automate this thing, make you have an external API. I can build an API that can interface with Make, or just a webhook, and you can have Make have a whole long list of tasks of, okay, now I want SEO done for 10,000 websites, right? I want all the requirements. I want everything that needs to be done. I want the best recommendations. Go through the list, and then Make will go through that list and then send it through. This thing will send back, obviously, all the data, what it collected, what it knows, and then you can just pass that through onto a database. And even just that, you can sell that database alone off. That's already made its money then back. I mean, let's say if you take the research tool, I do the same implementation. Now I do some automation. I go and Make. I have a list of 20,000 people that I want to know, or 20,000 companies I want to know specific details of, or I want to know the latest AI details about those companies. Now it goes through the list and it just spits that out. Let's say it takes a day and a half. Who's going to give you that amount of data in a day and a half? And then you just store it in a database. You can sell that database off for $1 million.
Just trying to figure out here if I were to spend my time getting $100,000 clients or $2,000 clients. That's no wonder you're always happy.
Yeah.
That's something we all need to think about.
Jeez.
How much, is this all like possible for like someone who has a little bit of technical background, but like not nowhere near the amount that you obviously do? So like how possible is this? How doable is it for someone like me?
So let's say you don't have any sort of technical knowledge. Let's go. You are in a white collar job. You are a secretary. Let's put it like that way. First of all, you're gonna play first with ChatGPT. Learn how to prompt, how to get some. I mean, that's the first skill you need to do. Prompt engineering. Learn how to prompt.
I've got that far, to be fair.
Yeah. So let's say you've got the prompt engineering down. Cool. Now prompt ChatGPT to build you an app that can interface with the Olama. Simple as that. Now you say, okay, I have a use case here. This is a problem that I would like to solve. Then you ask, now you run Olama, you run your own local large language model, and you say to this thing, hey, this is the use case. Can you solve this? And then if it spits out the right answers, there you go. Now use that same prompt, save that prompt, have it as a interface with code. So you'll ask ChatGPT for, write me this interface that would have this prompt to ask Olama and give me the response. It's all about using AI to build AI. And then
I was with you for about half of that. I can't lie.
yeah, so it's
So like you're prompting GPT to build you an app that works alongside Olama, and then you're checking the response.
yeah. So you're checking the response of Olama. So let's say you want to prompt Olama with a custom large language model or an open large language model. Can it give you the results you're looking for? If yes, and it solves that problem, now you can monetize it. So now you want to build a system around this. So you spin up Olama. You would ask ChatGPT to build some code that would interface with Olama and give you that response each time this thing is run. So now you build like a simple Python app. You say, let it run with a Gradio interface, and then run it locally on your machine. And even you can even ask ChatGPT, okay, what's my steps of what do I need to do next to get this running? And just keep prompting it each time. Okay, this is my next step. This is what I need to And it will eventually get to a point where you're running your app, it's interfacing with Olama, running your large language model and getting your result each time. And the next thing is just buy a GPU, see how much it can push out. And then sell the product.
It's not so simple.
Yeah, man.
Are you providing GPU?
So
Some
you,
of these companies for the 110K, are you providing like a small like $5,000 GPU or something?
yeah, so let's say for instance we had to do the SEO tool for innovation. We already priced it that we're gonna set up the server that we're gonna put in their rack will cost about 12,000 US, and that comes with 24090s, and that's enough to
For
do
12,000?
yeah for 12,000 US. So it's 12,000 US.
And then what? Do you fly out there and get it? You set it up for them and
Yep.
fly back home, obviously.
Yep.
The money you okay.
First class as well, 100%.
Yeah. No first class. No. So you guys need to know one thing first. I'm a firm believer of what PBD was saying on this, and that is, you fly coach, build up their points. You will eventually fly business class.
Does that apply for maintenance as well?
Yes.
So like on with the hardware, you gotta fly out. And all that, yeah.
So the maintenance cost is just online. We have another maintenance cost thing. So let's say for the US, we have two prospects on Wednesday in Florida, and theirs will be something. If they want, the maintenance cost will go up to $6,000 to $10,000 depending on what sort of maintenance needs to be done. If they need more GPU, more inference, then it means it's cost of us to fly over, hotel stay, and our time per hour.
Plus hardware, they're upgrading.
But they will gladly spend that because they
Have to be on set.
yeah, we have to be on site because their solutions require no internet access. It must not connect to the internet because they're running company data. They're running yeah. There's what do they call it? Your social security numbers and all those type of things are in that data, and credit card details. You don't want that shared.
So this isn't something that you could do like troubleshooting with their in-house IT guy. And they could,
Ideally, you don't want to because then you're just throwing money away.
yeah.
So what we do is we Dockerize the entire system. We encrypt the whole entire server. So if they want to fuck the thing over, they can. And then they're just going to have to pay us to fix it.
How easy do you source these GPUs? Like, where are you sourcing them? And
So you guys have a problem in the States. There's no more 4090s there. There's none.
Yeah, Spark took all of them.
Yeah. So like in South Africa, we're lucky we could source a few. We could source some GPUs and we'll probably buy it here and then fly it over.
But for the SEO tool, you won't need GPU, right? This is for another.
No. For the SEO tool, you'll still need a GPU because now you wanna get faster inference. You want the GPU to offload all of the workload. So the bigger your large language model, the more smarter your large language model is, the better results you're gonna get.
Yeah. And so you guys, you weren't focusing right now on other use cases. Do you have a future sense of where you think these custom LLMs are going to play? Not in the short term, as in a few months, but like maybe in a year, a big role.
In a year, I predict that every company is gonna need some form of AI in the box to accelerate their business, or they're gonna be left behind. And it's as simple as let's say I fly to Florida tomorrow. I sell them this product. I get it done. That same day, I'm walking down the street. I'm going to the competition and say, "Listen, I just sold this to them. What you gonna do?"
what you gonna do? That's great.
Yeah.
A quick question, actually. How do you get in contact with people of that C-suite level in, billion-dollar enterprise that you can sell this to?
You find very, very ambitious people. So Paul, that's also in the masterclass. He's dealing with the Florida clients. I told him I gave him some coaching, and I told him this is how you're gonna do this. This is where you're gonna attack them. This is how you're gonna get hold of them, and you just get in their face and say, listen, just walk into the damn company. Let's say it's a SEO company. Walk in there, say hi. This is me. Your name is. Get their name. Say hi. Nice to meet you. I've got a tool that I'm gonna sell to your competition, or you can take this now. This is its capabilities. Would you like to see? And I'm not fucking around with you. And then you know what? Give them the link. Then I told them, Paul, give them the link. Let them play with it. Immediately when they start playing with it, then they get the thing. Okay, when can we set up meetings? And then from there on, the ball starts rolling. So it's literally about sometimes having the balls of just walking into a company and saying, this is what I have.
Go ahead, Nathan. Or were you gonna ask something?
I was gonna ask, how are you housing the unit? Are you just putting it in a normal tower, or?
Mm-mm. So our development boxes are in normal towers, but when we go to companies, we actually buy a proper server rack, a proper server that houses GPUs and slaps them in. And we make sure that we spin up Linux. We import our Docker containers. We make sure that the Docker containers are hooked to whichever GPU. We make sure the entire thing is encrypted. And let's say if it's the website SEO thing and needs internet access, then we'll put a VPN to our network, and then we can push through a VPN all the any sort of updates to the LLMs or new code.
And your network's obviously in South Africa, right? And
For now,
what's the data compliance and stuff been, or pushback with like Florida companies or anything?
so what we're doing is sort of a white label approach. So everything will be white labeled under Paul's company that's in Florida, and he's our person on the ground there. So we'll just fly in, do everything. It will be under his company name, and yeah, that's how we get past that. And for every sale, he gets 20k. Well, 21,800 US.
So for every sale that we would, or for any time we would sell the solution for you guys will fly over, do the whole thing. Basically, we could be salesmen.
Yes.
Brandon's been going with that.
I'm gonna read some books, but and in this, you guys fly over within.
So our turnaround time.
21,000.
Yeah. So our turnaround time is 3 weeks. We'll do a 60% deposit. Once a 60% deposit is paid in and the contracts are signed, we fly over immediately when we land. And let's say I'm dealing with you. Your task is, I'm going to give you money, first of all, to go ahead and see if you can hunt and find the GPUs and find the hardware, because we want to buy it rather in country to actually save money and save time. We don't want to fly over hardware and go through customs and deal with a whole bunch of nonsense. So we'll task you with that. The day we land, we meet you, there's 10k in your hand right there. Boom. If you want it in cash, you can have it in cash. If you want it in Bitcoin, we'll give it to you in Bitcoin. You want it via Stripe, we'll do Stripe. Whatever you want, we'll get that done. Then we go to the client, we'll meet the client, we'll liaise with him, say this is what we're going to do for them, blah, blah, blah. We'll go back to the hotel. Myself and Sharky will be building the entire system, making sure we pull it from our VPN, pull the Docker containers, make sure we spin everything up in the hotel. And then within a period of 3 or 4 days, we just do a couple of tests. We put it inside the unit inside the company, plug it in, work with their DevOps crew or any of the network people, make sure it's plugged in and into their system, and it's according to their compliancy and their tech stack. And then we give a week's worth of training, and then we fly back. Job done. And the day we fly back, there's your other 10k.
So you suggest we do need to be there?
Yes, because
I'm not from America, I will fly there as well. Yeah.
yeah, So let's say you do the sale in the US. You flying that 21K needs to pay for your flights as well.
It's a nice holiday.
Yeah.
Who's gonna say no to 21K?
About like translation, can you do it in any language or is it now only English?
So we're actually doing something for. Can I say the company's name? P. The Italian company. Okay, we'll just call it the Italian company. So we're trying to do something for an Italian company, and we want the whole entire SEO thing to respond in Italian for them, and to give them the full experience instead of having it in English. So ideally it's the same code, but then whatever it gives back in English, we send it back to the LLM to translate it and then come back with a result. So that we're still prototyping. Might take maybe an extra 20 seconds, but what's 20 seconds extra? Let's say the turnaround time is a minute. Is a minute more than a day?
Yeah, they can go make a coffee while it's running.
Yeah.
I know this is your first masterclass, but on the next few, can you like really break it down for us? So, you know, like say, this is what we provide, like the racks,
The next masterclass is going to be a workshop. That's why I want you guys to go and do the homework on Olama, because you guys are actually going to be building a MVP. And whoever missed out on the first class, they need to watch the stuff and hurry up, and because I will walk you through everything, the entire steps of how to do this.
For the homework, is it just the research for now?
Yeah, just do the research. Try and get it running on your own machine. Send me screenshots of you asking it stuff, running on your own machine. You don't need a heavy machine to run Olama. Alright, so let's call it there, guys. Last question.
In terms of like the selling process, do you guys have documents in terms of what you could approach companies with? You said you have the demo. Is this also something you can provide?
Yes. So if you want to sell the tool on behalf of us and do a white label approach, we can talk. And my team will give you everything that you need.
Where's the ideal handoff? Is it we set up the sales call and then you guys take it from there? Is it?
Yeah. So it depends on you, actually. So let's say if you want to do the sale, you can do the sale. If you're that good, if you're confident in it, go ahead. Be my guest. I'll give you all the tools that's needed. If you want me to jump on and do the sale for you, that's also, I don't care. That's as long as we get the sale. When the sale is done and concluded, there's document signed and there's money paid in. That's when the ball starts rolling.
Yeah, I assume there's at some point during the sales process they're going to want to do a little more technical dive on the stacks. At that point, probably a good idea to bring in your team and
So yep.
talk to their dev. I have one other question. I forgot what it was. Shit.
Hurry up, Nathan. It's the last question and I have to sign off.
Can we white label this under our own service?
Yes. Because we're already doing that in the States.
So you'll provide us how to white label this next masterclass is the goal to show us like, you know, this is how we can sell it.
That's on class 3. Class 2 is very, very extensive of how to build the stuff together and how to understand how these things work. So this is
We need to understand everything before we can sell it.
exactly. So don't try and sell product 2 before understanding product 1.
So Rita, the homework is just to research the 3 companies you mentioned, so Olama, the Ooga Booga, and the other one.
Now you can research them and start playing with them. I actually want you to start playing with them. And in your homework, you are going to DM me in Discord and say, this is what I've done. Just send me screenshots. And for the people that's not here in the class, they're missing out. I don't care. Even if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people on here, that's more than enough for me. 6 people that can make 100 grand in no time. Yeah, that's more than enough for me. I mean, you guys will smile. I mean, for one sale, 20K, come on. Or if you do it yourselves, you sell these products for 100 to 200. I mean, our Forge, we're selling for 260,000 US. You know what 20% of that sale looks like?
Can you send us a presentation? Sorry.
So, like I said, do the homework, DM me your homework, that you've done this, that you understand a little, that you play with this, because I will be asking questions. And then we're definitely going to take that in the next step with the next class. Because each class, I want to build you guys up to be able to sell this yourselves.
No, sorry. I meant today's presentation.
Yeah.
Not the presentation on how to sell it.
Okay. Today's presentation, I'm gonna share it now for everybody. It'll be in the Discord. Or if I must you somehow, message me. I'll get it done. Alrighty. Alright, signing off, guys. I hope this was a good class for you guys.
So much.
Thanks for
Looking forward to next week.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Alright, cheers everyone.
Yeah, sweet boys.
Bye guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Jesus fuck, it's already.
Football, yeah?
Huh?
The father's calling you.
Yeah, no, you can wait quickly.
So we definitely have